Welcome to the show brought to you by the Zimbabwe Young Feminist Movement and the Zimbabwe Chamber of Informal Economy Association, ZCIEA. Today we want to particularly discuss the issue of sexual harassment with regards to the informal trading sector. So with me today I have two amazing people that are going to help us to do just that. I will ask you to introduce yourself to the people that are watching. Sky, I'll start with you.
Sanibonani, mina Sikhangele Moyo. Ngihlala khona pha koBulawayo.
Sanibonani ke bantu ababukeleyo, igama Michael Ndiweni. Ngivela kunhlanganiso okuthiwa yiBulawayo Vendors Traders Association.
Thank you very much for being here and for coming. So to start us off, I know what you particularly, Mike, there's been a lot of talk about informal trading, particularly in Zimbabwe, where it says that is over 80% of our economy is based in the informal trading sector. But so maybe you can define to us what we mean when we talk about the informal trading sector and the people that we find in that sector, particularly right now in Zimbabwe.
All right. So, informal sector inkulu kakhulu ibanda ndawonye abantu ababesebenza kuma markets be regulated abanye be unregulated. What do I mean? Abanye banama trading licenses, abathi ama vending licenses, but they are still defined as informal ngoba ngasikhaya umthetho lawula amabhizinisi. For you to be formal, you will a certificate of incorporation, a private limited company, a cooperative private limited company, or a private business corporation. Abanye futhi abangajalela abantu abasebenza ezindlini, ama domestic workers. They are also part of the informal economy because they are supporting people that are working in the mainstream economy. Baqhatshiwe basebenza ezindlini. Generally, ngabantu abangekho protected by the, I would say, in terms of social security. About access to social security, for example, medical aid, insurance, funeral cover. Abanye bankhona abanye babesebenza besithi ama contributing family members. Yabesebenza umuntu ngathi emsinga emkambo wakhe emthengise engala contract. Bonke labo sibatifine as abantu abama-informal economy workers. Our informal sector, if you so wish, but the sector usukunciphisa nasithi economy uzikhave wonke umuntu waseNzimbabwe ukuthi abantu abasebenza endlini, abantu abasebenza emkambo, labantu abaprovide ama-services olungisa amafoni, ama-radio, ama-TV.
Interesting.
Bonke labo sithi informal economy.
Thank you very much for that definition. So Scar, coming to you, how would you define sexual harassment in layman's terms, in terms whereby everyone out there who's watching can definitely understand?
Sexual harassment is any unwanted advancement, whether be it using your eyes in a funny way or in a certain way. All of that falls under sexual harassment. I am not consenting to it. I do not want what you are trying to do to me. So it is harassment.
So what we've seen over the past years is that there has been a lot of talk about indaba rape. But when we focus on rape, we don't usually focus on sexual harassment in the way that Scott described. So maybe, Mike, I'll come to you with this question. How does sexual harassment manifest itself within the informal economy?
Sexual harassment ingathi ivamile kakhulukazi in the informal economy. Ngoba abantu abaningi abantu abasebazifaka as people who don't matter in society. So it can be taken advantage of. For example, umuntu yabethengisa sithi uthengisa endaweni engekho designated engavunyelwayo ngoba bakhona abathengisa endaweni ezinjalo for reasons known to themselves and one reason or the other. endaweni ezivumelekileyo le license bese expire kana sebenzisa good example. Xa se-expire kulo enforcement agent kumbe umuntu ohambe sama license besithi kuye wena njengoba yakhe-expire angibhadalisi namhla because ideally bayathatha impahla bayaconfiscate impahla nxa ukuthi lasi-expire kumbe uthengisela endaweni engavunyelwayo kumbe uthengisa izinto ezingavunyelwayo sesithi hayi zakubhadala inkayi so hayi wena ndizakutshiya zakusabona namba yembayi nxa umuntu wesimama uzathi hayi isinamba yakho sesibona namba yembayi so 7-6 that's called sextortion. Iyegcwele kakhulu. Sometimes okunye kwenzakalayo ukuthi nxa be-confiscate impahla laphana abanye abantu basebenzisa udlakela. They violently confiscate the goods. Bexavula umama endaweni ezithize ezisensitha. That's also harassment esivame ukuyibona. Okunye ukuthi uyathengisa khompana kulabanye amakhona khona abafana abagangileyo amadoda agangileyo uyathi usizedlule esithengisela maybe zakhe nxa yize ukhala nobot ethengisa ule license elanye umuntu athi kuphasula iziqi. That's also harassment that we see. Abanye babekhuluma benika inkulumo ezithize singama-comments phasi ngama-comments umndedlula laphana kuyenzakala nemkambo futhi khona lonke. Kulabanye abathengisa ama-illicit substances bengadakwa into zabo njengoba naba bazithengisa emkambo for some reason ababotshwa bengadakwa then basi beharasa baharasa abantu abathenga ama-clients bebachaya izinqu bephasa ama-comments besenza ongacabangela. Yonke leyo i-sexual harassment esiyibona ivamile kakhulu into zokuthengisela.
So what the other aspect of sexual harassment really has to do with men. We have seen over the years the rise of men also reporting cases of sexual harassment. So maybe Ska, you can take us maybe why for most men it's hard for them to report such cases, or for anyone out there to actually understand how a man can get sexually harassed or abused.
There's a number of women also who are harassing men, especially young men and boys. I was reading somewhere, if we were to do a survey right now to check who broke their virginity, about these young men who actually broke their virginity, you'll find it's actually older women. Ama cases anjalo they go unreported, and the ama mama bajalo they go scot-free. No one is talking about them, and it's not interesting anyway to have these conversations. You know, ubabalwana was abused, kumbe ukhiswe umbani engafuni, you know, kumbe umamalwana umthinte ngapi. It's almost like no one wants to pay attention to that. So at the end of the day, they cannot go and report policy. Because amapolisa they are also not ready for men now we have a kind of a city you understand, and very long but how we are flying when can't you why you buy you get the point.
I also want us to talk about, when we look at sexual harassment, currently in Zimbabwe, we don't have a law that protects people in the informal economy from getting sexually harassed. And for many people that have advocated for that law, and for many people in civic society, they use that as evidence to show that people, generally society doesn't care much about sexual harassment because it usually happens to women. But maybe also take us through why society is so relaxed, it seems, when it comes to issues of sexual harassment.
First of all, you know that our society is so patriarchal. And what does that mean? It means there are certain expectations from that we want to see from a man. What is that? It's a strong man. It's a man who is a provider. It's a man who doesn't cry. It's a man who is masculine. It's a man who should not talk about, show their weakness. So at the end of the day, when I allow my expectations, then you cannot come up as a man and say, So our expectations on allow they confine men into a false narrative of being strong and not be able to talk about these issues. So mama, because Tina really were considered to be vulnerable, emotional, talkative and stuff like that. And we also have these resorts where we go and talk about our issues as opposed to men. I think also they rely a lot among themselves, That whole narrative of women is strong. You cannot then find men talking about their weaknesses to each other. They will talk about how strong they are, how in control they are. So a gender gap. Ends with disparities. And ends up with because they cannot talk about these issues. Even the emergency, because they can't talk about these issues. You find a woman who has been harassed since they were 10. And also, my parents, when they are not ready to talk about these issues to their boys, they will rather put more attention to the girls. So, bakula benjalo, so the culture I'm gonna get and on the side of our vendors, you see also, mama yakakulubawe alabantu ababo. Bese ethengisa emsikeni. But you hardly see a man what is that? What is causing that? And at the end of the day, abantu alaba bakhulela kuma streets. Mama, they are exposed, The mental load ithwalwa ngabo mama of any particular marriage or any setup. So that load ithwalwa ngabo mama, the vulnerability, the exposure. It's a gender gap, it's a disparity that is there, but no one is talking about it. And also on the issue of the about our laws. Sometimes our laws are we implementing them? Because we have got beautiful laws that are already existing. But what are we saying? We also have institutions like your gender commissions, like our human rights commission. What are they doing? Because maybe it's because of these people are safe and sometimes the information I feel because look, they are running up and down trying to make ends meet. So why are these parties not doing anything towards vulnerability among vendors?
Why sexual harassment isn't taken serious in our society?
Because we have normalized it. And the fact that these perpetrators go unpunished. So, Mike did this to me. I went back, baby, my apologies. You see how social media also talks about people who speak out about sexual harassment, So when Mike who sexually harassed me, Tina Mangan Mike, women involved said, no, we're for Mike. Very really a man, she's been doing ABCD. So we start apologizing for our perpetrators. And at the end of the day, they will not report these cases. And even if they report, what happens? Yes, so it's not as so it's normal. Issues and like ever find out which of you will still see the same society just like so we always find reasons to nullify or sanitize our behaviors So it has become a part of our society, but it doesn't make it right.
Mike, your thoughts on this one?
Before I put my thought on that one, I want just to go back to the initial discussion on the violence, sexual violence, harassment being perpetrated to men, going unreported. In the marketplaces, I've seen, I saw an incident along Jason and Fine Avenue. So this man was being dragged by women, you know. And I was imagining, actually I stopped, but I couldn't do anything. I stopped and watched and said, but what if this was being done to a woman? And we were laughing and then the guy was running, literally running. I think the question why nothing is changing, I think for me it's a generational struggle. If you look at the West today, the Me Too movement talks about cases that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Someone saying Me Too today. So I think we need to inculcate this culture of reporting at a tender age. I want to have a fundiswe sexual harassment so that even nice police and they are we also report. So you understand why we share because they're not cultured to accept a man that a man can be violated. You cannot get my point. So we need to be intentional, or we need to be deliberate in terms of what we do to say. Last, for example, as a preschool, the curriculum may also cover such things so that they are prepared psychologically, mentally, it becomes part of their lifestyle to speak about these things. But when you say, then, I say, I'm being hard to police and kitchen. I mean, case not this kitchen.
So 10.
The 10 case, now you can attend to sexual harassment. I mean, issues. Which I love, really. Even if you don't fund through e-training, 6 months, it's not enough. So let's culture it. I think that's what we should do. But also, secondly, is just to awareness. Intermediately, just do awareness raising. Let's use these platforms, that's why I'm allowed to talk about these issues, and let these things reach out to abantu esikhuluma abanye cases. Let's use police afaka suggestion boxes corners, streets. Now the case usawuya report so ngabhala phone number yakho, address yakho ukuthi mina so banyana ngaphi umuntu onje ngithengisa emkampo bangenza lokho. Police can also actually follow, but vale unit police victim friendly unit in charge of handling such cases. But also the other organizations as Medisal, Club Umsasa project as an example, and many others. Now the cases are also Mabuya, they were dealing with the so I think for me,
do you want to add anything there?
Maybe in closing, should actually initiate these conversations. Since Velova and the landlord, our statistics they show what women are in power. So let's have more men talking about what sexual harassment is all about, and the kuzane among themselves, and they also learn to speak out even when they are harassed. So I think all our coming to the party is a game changer.
Those are very interesting sentiments to leave you by. I hope that you have really enjoyed this conversation as much as I have. As always, my name is Unika. Intombi ngiyako kumbara lisale kahle.